Killing machine.
Lying here.
So thanks everybody for joining again with another Crazy Killing Machine video. We are quite clearly going to go through another character creation at this point. So after doing mine, Finn has jumped at the chance to be next in line to go through the creation for the role-playing game. So we've got Steve in the bottom right, and we have Finn Cornish, who is going to be taking us through his creation of what's going to be turning out to be quite an interesting Martian loyalist. So same as always, Finn's going to do a bit of an introduction to who he is and his experience with Keyforge, and then Steve's going to fly this aeroplane and take him through his character creation. So yeah, Finn, if you don't mind, just a bit of background of who you are and your Keyforge exploits.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure a lot of you have met me during some event somewhere. I'm part of the London Urchins, which is the kind of team based down in London. I have been at the Birmingham Vault Championships, Vault Tours, Grand Championships in Milton Keynes recently, and yeah, kind of just.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice saying you were at the Vault Tour.
Okay, yeah, I came second in the Vault Tour. I won my Prime Championship in Southampton. Came second in the D20 Prime Championship. So I've been doing pretty well in the Keyforge kind of tournament scene this last kind of 12 months, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to take my invite to the World Championships whenever that is.
Nice. So what you're saying is you've come second in a Prime, and I've come second in a Prime. Steve, have you come second in a Prime?
I mean, he also won a Prime. So. Stop trying to make yourself. Oh yeah, I'm on par with Finn. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So other than that, really, me and my other brother, Ollie, you guys aren't related to me. You wish, but we are currently running a stream called Sigil of Brotherhood, where we're kind of testing out what we're doing. We're kind of playing some kind of fun, quirky games, playing in a few online tournaments, and it's mostly just a place to kind of hang out, watch some games, have some conversation. It's very relaxed, very chill kind of environment. So feel free to hop on over there. It's at twitch.tv/Sigil of Brotherhood.
Cool. We'll stick all that in the description for the video as well. I'll get you guys across because I jumped on with them for a couple of hours on their last one, and yeah, it's good fun. Good fun watching them talk through what they're doing.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so shall we get started with the character then? So I can see you've gone with a Martian loyalist, and could you pronounce his name for me?
Yes. So his name is Klyxil, Fixfinger.
Wow.
So kind of like clicks, like clicking a button, and then ill, like someone who has the coronavirus. And I've gone with Fixfinger because looking through all the creatures in, you might be able to correct me here, but looking through all the creatures in Keyforge, they all kind of seem to have this last name that is very blatant to what they're doing. Like, for example, like the Sky Booster Squadron, and the Marauder Fixfinger. They're almost like job titles, right?
Okay.
So when looking through these, I was thinking, my guy's, he's going to be this engineer. So what would be a kind of a title that would fit him? And Fixfinger seemed kind of like a title that made a lot of sense. Maybe there's loads of Fixfingers, and he's just one of them. And it's kind of your first name that kind of is a more defining factor of you because you're all, part of this empire.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. As well, yeah, because obviously the Martians, they are clones. So you have the elders that will clone their different soldiers. And yeah, that would make sense that you would have a batch called the Fixfingers, and they were designed to do engineering. So obviously you're looking at a character going through probably engineering career skill, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. So the big thing with the Martians is they don't tend to react well with other races. They tend to obviously be completely about Mars. If I just read you a little bit about soldiers, which is what you've gone for, it's soldiers are notoriously difficult to deal with when non-Martians encounter them. Their fanatical dedication to the Mars lives on ideology keeps them completely focused on their mission, and their extreme determination makes it difficult to negotiate a different approach or convince them to abandon a goal. So what that leads me to think is, what would make your character leave the Martian Empire to actually be interacting with the rest of the party?
Yeah, so kind of the way that I've gone about this is I am kind of a fresh-faced recruit straight out of the incubation chamber. Kind of like I'm on kind of an early mission in my kind of soldiering career, and our ship gets taken down by, maybe like a Grobnar cannon or something, kind of like in an outpost nearby my base. Our ship comes down, everyone in my squad dies, and I'm kind of like left by myself, nothing really other than kind of like what's in my armor, my gun, etc. Kind of like I've been quite badly injured from the kind of wreckage, kind of got burns up my neck and things like that. And I'm kind of like on my own. As much as I feel like the Martians or the elders kind of demand loyalty from their soldiers, they don't necessarily give the same level of respect back to them. If a ship goes down, they don't send out a party to go pick them up. It's kind of like, well, 6 Martians lost, we can make some more.
Yeah, exactly.
So although I'm still in the mindset of, or Klyxil's still in the mindset of kind of like Martians first, etc. But maybe his dying belief that they are kind of one race is kind of a bit fading. He kind of feels like maybe that they've left him behind. And through meeting new characters, through meeting the party, I feel like Klyxil will kind of start to appreciate the different sides of life and the different races and the different cultures.
That's pretty cool, actually. And obviously, you guys don't know how the story is going to unfold, but I can already tell you that's going to fit perfectly with how I've written the story.
Awesome.
Even like the geography pretty much fits quite well, which is pretty cool. Obviously, you guys don't know what the maps look like or anything like that, but like where you're going to be based isn't too far away from like a Mars outpost. And it kind of makes sense as to where you are would bring you together. And yeah, your characters should be able to grow quite well from that situation, which is pretty damn cool. That's worked out quite well.
The minute you try and befriend a Sanctum Knight, though, I'm going to blow you away.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Don't you worry, you're going to hate the Sanctum just as much as we do. Then the big question I asked Carl was about what the Crucible means to your character. So what's Klyxil's thing? What do they believe the Crucible is? What is their role in the Crucible?
Yes, so I guess because I'm fairly young as well, I don't know. I don't really have my own personal experience of the motherland, Mars. I was breeded on and created on the Crucible. So the way that I kind of see it, especially as like almost like an engineer as well as a soldier, it's kind of it's almost potentially like this technological feat to be conquered and to be used as maybe a weapon. What information can we learn from it? What resources can we gather from it? What weapons can we create from it? And I think that's what Klyxil's goal is to build the best weapon from it, build the best tech from it, and kind of use that to then expand the Martian Empire, whether it's to more planets or take over the entire Crucible to when they take on the Archons themselves.
Nice. That that sums up Mars quite well, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sweet.
What would you say like your character's flaws were?
So I like the idea that Klyxil struggles to think for himself. Because as this breeded soldier, they are given orders. They're told strictly what to do, what not to do. So put him, in an urban area full of all these different people, he doesn't really know what to do or where to put himself. And I think he's going to struggle learning those kind of normal behavior traits that other people just pick up on really easily. And the other aspect of that as well is they might see someone in danger or being attacked or something, and they're just going to come stand and watch. Klyxil's just going to be like, well, they're not a Martian, so I don't really care. And the more physical side of that, I'd say Martians are pretty small, and even though I'd say they're skinny but muscular, they're still quite physically weak. I mean, they're not going to be able to take on a giant. They're not going to be able to take on a beast from Untamed or a dinosaur. So his way of combat would be through range, through being able to be quick and things like that, agility. But if he was backed up against a wall with a giant, then he hasn't got a chance.
Yeah. What would you say he was like in a social situation then? Because obviously he's not really interacted outside of Mars. Is he going to be bad there as well?
Yeah, I think socially he's going to be very awkward. Very. Have you guys seen Steven Universe?
No.
Steven Universe, the kids, the
yeah,
a little boy watches it. Funnily enough, I was watching it with him today. Yeah, he loves it.
There's a character called Peridot who is also a small green alien, and she has, again, in the story of Steven Universe, kind of like there's this kind of like alien race that are very kind of dictatorial and similar to Mars. And I kind of based a lot of the social interactions with a character called Peridot, as I said, which is kind of like very aggressive, very angry, kind of like, why are you not giving me the thing I want right now? They're not going to put up with someone trying to swindle them. If you're trying to take advantage of me, I'm just going to pull out my blaster and like just shoot you in the face. Like, I have no quarrels with like just killing people. So I may cause more fights than are necessary.
Yeah, that sounds like you're going to get into a lot of trouble.
Kind of, I'd say very hot-headed, not very.
Oh, this is fine. This is fine. My guy's just going to push you in front, and that's it. You see the video of my character creation. My guy is the polar opposite. He's got no interest in fighting, so that's it. In you go, Klyxil. See ya. Cheers, boy.
Nice. Yeah. So you two are going to work quite well together, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yin and yang.
Yeah. Well. Okay, so let's get a bit into like the crux of being a Martian then. So when you pick the Martian race, you get a few characteristics. So brawn would be a 1. So obviously you're not going to be fighting like hand to hand anytime soon.
Yeah.
But you get like a high agility of 3, and then average intellect, cunning, and willpower of 2, and then presence of 1.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing with Martians is, I know like last episode we went through Carl's character, and they started with experience of 95, which is usually like the blanket amount for every character. But the Martians start with 110. And the reason for this is because you might have seen on your starting skills that you actually choose one or the other, whereas like for the other characters, they tend to get both.
Yeah.
So as a starting skill, you get to choose to either have a rank in ranged, or you get 2 ranks in operating, or 2 ranks in piloting.
Yeah.
So what did you go for?
I went for a rank in range.
Okay, so he's going to be shooting then.
Yeah.
You didn't think about operating? Would you be in like engineering?
Yeah, I thought about operating, and I like the idea that I am still a soldier and in the Corps. And my engineering skills, I want to try and use to kind of build better weapons, build better armor. And I also have a few other skills and areas which I think will help in the engineering department as well.
Okay, that's cool.
And as well, because I don't have a lot of brawn, I'm not going to be up close quarters. So I think range is going to be really important for me to win like any fights whatsoever.
Yeah, makes sense. And obviously start with a gun. A little ray pistol.
Yeah.
You'll be good to go.
A little what?
A little ray pistol.
Okay.
Oh, I hear it.
Whoa! I wasn't really paying attention then. I was
like... Anyway, so that leads on to the next one, which is size doesn't matter. which is a Martian soldier is silhouette 0. So the thing here is like an average human is silhouette 1. So that's like your kind of way to gauge that.
Yeah.
An elf being 4 foot would be literally on the brink of the bottom of silhouette 1.
Yeah.
So you are Martian silhouette 0, meaning you're around 3 to 4 foot normally,
Okay.
or less than 4 foot. So you might need to update your height a
Yeah.
little bit. So you'll be less than 4 foot. So you'll be like, yeah,
Like
or you could be
310
4
or
foot.
something.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to gauge. I was trying to look at some cards to like gauge the size of the Martians because it's really hard to kind of like actually see them next to something else.
Yeah, you got your Martian elders, which are like the tall, long necks, and you got
Yeah.
your little soldiers, which are tiny little buggers.
Cool.
Obviously.
So what does that 0 silhouette give me in terms of skills?
It'll be when it reduces target's aim against you. So
Okay, cool.
when if someone's trying to make a range against a silhouette 0, it's going to be more difficult than a silhouette 1.
Nice.
It also will mean like falling ranges are going to change. So obviously falling from a lower height is going to be more dangerous for you than it is for someone else. So your next skill is zap, zap, zap. So this is like your Martian starting skill.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you understand like much about this one, because
not particularly. So I did read a bit through them, but I'm sure you do a much better job explaining it.
Yeah. So on there, the symbol is a critical success, which it shows. So it's as an out of turn incidental, a Martian soldier may spend a critical success from their check to determine initiative to ready a ranged weapon and then use that weapon to make a ranged attack.
Okay,
so
cool.
when everyone rolls initiative at the start of any fight,
Yeah.
if you roll a critical success, you get to get a shot off before anything happens. So they're pretty damn good at like quick drawing.
That's kind of in line with the way I've kind of designed this character. So
yeah, it works quite well. I think it's like a 1 in 8 for that critical. I think it's like a D8 maybe, or it might be a D12. So not like very likely, but it might happen.
Cool.
So next we then go on to your career. So you've picked obviously your race. Now we go to your career, and you've gone with engineer.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like the engineer would fit the kind of Martian requirements in terms of like, even though he is a soldier, having the skills to kind of like repair weapons, build new stuff, maybe do things that other people on my team can't necessarily do, is really going to benefit.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, engineer is obviously a standard Martian career, so that's pretty good. So when you pick engineer, you get 8 career skills, which are athletics, computer, knowledge and science, mechanics, operating, perception, range, and vigilance. You then get to pick 4 of those skills to gain a rank in it. So which ones did you go for?
Yeah, so now that I'm looking at them again, I think I might switch one, but I went with athletics because again, in terms of fighting, I'm not going to want to be close up. So I think athletics will help me get out of the way of some situations that are going to do harm to me. I went an additional skill in range. Again, kind of like really hammer home that kind of way of fighting, kind of like stay in the back, shoot them, being able to like get my first shot off before they're even able to get close to me, that kind of fighting style. And then I went 1 in computers and 1 in science. And I think that maybe that lends more into like the scientist kind of career, less than the engineering. So I wasn't entirely sure whether that was the correct move or whether I wanted to go into something else.
So, as an engineer, you could be going down like the computer route, but if you're looking at making weapons and stuff like that, you're probably looking then at mechanics and operating. Operating being like using machinery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mechanics would be like building some kind of mechanism.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, if you wanted to move one of them over or both of them over.
I think I'll actually move both, 1 to mechanics and 1 to operating. Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to be more about obviously engineering rather than the computer engineering in the Keyforge world. Cool. So what kind of role would you see yourself in, like a standard party? Would it be a fighter really, or is it going to be?
So I think that yeah, I think in terms of like as a Martian, I'm probably not going to be able to play nicely with the other characters as well. So I think being able to hold my own in a fight, whether it's through having kind of enhanced armor, kind of strong weapons, being able to shoot people from far away, that's kind of the role I think I'll take. So I'm probably going to initiate a lot of fights and probably kind of pack quite a punch as well.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm hoping that the other members in the party will be able to kind of like support in other ways.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty cool.
and it sounds like Carl's going to be doing fuck all. So
Carl's just going to hope there's no fights.
Yeah, that's me.
Why we're going to start by having you right in the middle of a battle, and Carl's going to die.
just run in the other direction.
I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
Run away. I have my strength lie elsewhere.
Carl's just separate from the rest of the party.
Just at this point as well, there's been a hidden message in this video. Hopefully people have seen it, but I know you can't see what I'm doing, so you're welcome.
You're dropping hidden messages in.
Well, they're not that hidden.
Nice. So let's go on to the gear that you then start with. So first one is you get a one-handed range weapon. So this is going to be your plasma rifle or whatever. So the trait you get to choose between is either explosive or magnetic. Do you want to know what each of those do?
I mean, I think I already know which one I'm going to go for, but if you can explain them, that'd be great.
If you go for magnetic, you're off. You're out.
I literally just said I want to pack a punch, and I'm going to be like, magnetic.
Yeah. But I love magnets.
So the explosive means it ensures that with every attack, ground shakes and swaths of enemies fall. The weapon gains a blast quality with a rating equal to half the weapon's base damage. And it all depends on different characteristics, such as brawn for brawl weapons or ranged for ranged weapons. So the higher range, the bigger the explosion is going to be. Or magnetic, it uses powerful hyperdimensional magnetic fields to both restrict the target's ability to move and protect its wielder from harm. So you can like stick
that actually does sound pretty useful, to be honest.
Yeah.
We don't need useful.
Yeah, you don't need useful. We need fun.
You want to blow shit up?
I kind of want to blow some shit up. Yeah. So I think regardless of how useful or interesting it sounds, explosive is definitely what I'm getting.
Let's go with that then. The next thing is you get some durable clothing and you get enhanced or insulating. So I'm sure you can work out what those mean.
Yeah, I felt like just again based on the character, enhanced clothing, like enhanced armor sounds like the best route forward. But again, you're going to do a job explaining exactly what they did.
Yep. So with enhanced, it provides you with greater strength or speed. So you can add a dice when you're making a non-combat brawn or agility-based check. So for you, most likely going to be agility checks.
Yep.
But even then, it could be brawn because you need to make it up for the fact that you're not great at brawn. Roll some extra. And your insulating is it protects you from the environment. It'll make
I'm hopefully not going to be in a position where that's gonna try and hurt me. I think I'd prefer with the enhanced I can maybe try and dodge any of those environmental things that could harm me. So.
Yeah, and if you find yourself in a bad environment, chances are all of you are going to find yourself in that environment and deal with it in some way. So your next one is construction aid or AR goggles or a field forge.
Yeah.
So did you pick one of these, or do you want to?
I didn't pick one of these because I wasn't entirely sure what each of them did actually.
Yeah, we'll go through those because I don't know. So AR goggles. So it gives the physical world an overlay. So they are augmented reality goggles that you'll have, and it gives you helpful information as well as iconography for interacting with virtual systems. So this will be when you're using a computer, you get to add dice to different checks. And where any kind of like head benefit you, you'll get to add a check. But if you're in a situation where like having all those things on your display would distract you, it would be a negative effect as well. So that would come up to me.
Would that be able to help me out in fights and things like that, like being able to see targets better in maybe like rainy conditions and things like that, or people trying to sneak up on me?
Yeah, so it could work either way. So it would depend on the exact situation, but if you were rainy, give you a silhouette of the person.
Yeah.
But then it could also be that you're in like a bubble, and all of a sudden it's identifying the till in the corner, and that's going to distract you. So it will depend on the situation that you came into.
Cool.
We'll have a bit of fun with it, really, and if you went with that one.
Okay.
So the next one, construction aids. So given that Crucible is an artificial planet, it only makes sense that should be paramount everywhere. Construction aids come complete with pan-dimensional levels, nano-assemblers, instrument, and other items helpful for construction in the field. So it decreases the difficulty of mechanics check when you're trying to construct things like bridges, fortifications, and similar structures.
I have heard you're going to have to build a lot of bridges.
Yeah, I'm going to build a lot of bridges.
Sounds
Probably
like a
social
thing.
ones, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Metaphorical bridges.
So maybe I'll
piss
just
off a few people.
yeah.
Speaking to the FFG guys, the one thing they did say when they gave us the book is, God, the amount of bridges you have to build.
You have to build so many bridges. And then your last one is a field forge. So it's like an anvil, a field anvil, but it matches your culture. So if you were Brobnar, you'd likely have a massive anvil that you carry around, whereas you might have like some kind of gravity reducing materials. But using a field forge decreases the difficulty of checks the user makes to create, repair, or modify mechanical devices, such as repairing vehicles or weapons.
Okay. I think that one is probably where I'm going to go then, with the field forge. Again, because if I don't have my enhanced clothing, if I don't have my weapon, I'm pretty much dead in the water. So I think that's probably going to be actually, that does remind me though, the last piece of equipment that I get is a toolkit. I assume that's a one-off use, and then that's gone, and I'm gonna need to acquire another thing.
No, it's something that you will keep around.
Okay, cool.
And it's literally your toolkit, so it'll
so
be
that's going to help me in a
spanner,
similar
screwdriver.
field.
Yeah, kind of thing like the things like Marshall, and it will just be on like a much scale. So it's like a little power tool essentially. It does have a battery life of like an hour, so if you're using electric side, you'd have to replenish it somehow. But other than that, you're straightforward. And now your final one is 100 ambits.
Yes.
Well, 1D100 ambits. Have you got a way of randomizing some?
I have a D20 right in front of me.
Shall we roll that 5 times?
Yeah, absolutely. So just for your knowledge, I went for a field forge because I think that's going to be best used. Cool. So I need to roll this 5 times, yeah?
You do.
All right. Number 1 is 6.
Yep.
Number 2 is 12.
18.
It's 18. Number 3 is 20. Ooh,
is it fuck?
Well, I had to double check because it's this little symbol.
I had the same yesterday. Yeah, I did the same. The D20 I was rolling had a little skull on it.
So that's 28. 38. Excellent. And then is this
2 more rolls? 2 more rolls.
15.
So
and
53.
Finally, 18. Ooh, I'm a rich boy.
So
Jesus.
71.
Way better. I think I was on like 42. I think.
Yeah, you rolled pretty low.
I biffed it,
you did specifically say that you weren't interested in riches, so it's kind of your own fault.
I did. You've watched it. I'm glad. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that was the third recording. I think on one of them I got like 60.
So it's your own fault.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Cool.
So
okay.
Now we need to spend some of your experience.
Yes.
So obviously, as I said earlier, you've got a 110.
Yeah.
So I've said this in cars, but usually the best thing to do is spend it on characteristics. Did you go down that route, or did you go for skills and talents?
I did kind of a mixture of everything. First things I did go for characteristics. Yep. So I spent 20 in brawn.
Yep, cool. Getting it up above 1.
Yeah, that's 2. That was a necessity. But again, because I'm going to try and avoid those physical conflicts, I didn't want to spend too much in that. So I actually spent 40 XP in agility.
Jesus.
Which takes me to 4.
Little fast guy.
Yeah, and I really wanted to be able to just like dart out of a situation and then I can start shooting back. because again, I feel like if I'm up against a wall with anyone bigger than me, I'm going to get absolutely crushed. And then I spent 30 in intellect.
Okay.
After 3.
So that's quite a lot spent, but it sounds like that's going to be pretty good across the board for getting you. It gets you like a 4 and a 3 skill right from the start, which is pretty all characteristic. So then next one, did you spend anything in skill?
Yes, I ended up spending 10 XP in athletics.
Okay, so you really want to be running away.
Yeah.
It was just that one?
Yeah.
Spend any other skills? Okay.
I didn't spend any other skills.
Right, so let's get to your talents then.
Yes, I think I have only 10 XP left.
Okay.
After that.
So 2 standard talents, or tier 1 talent.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to change. So I went for knack for it.
Yeah.
As I basically just want to be successful in everything I do. I don't
What was that again? Sorry, you just did it sort of lagged a little bit when you said what you went for. What was it?
I went for knack for it. Is the talent I went for?
Yeah. Okay.
And it basically is able to kind of remove some of the negative rolls that Steve has the option to throw at us. So basically, I'm going to be able to do maybe things a little bit riskier with some other skills. I get to choose a skill to apply that to.
So you stick. So you choose a skill, and then whenever you're testing that skill, it will reduce the difficulty because you're pretty good at it.
Yeah. So initially, I was thinking going athletics or range, but I'm not sure if that's kind of overkill at this point. I'm kind of just being able to smash everything. If I've got 2 skills in range and 2 skills in athletics, so I think I'm gonna use it in mechanics. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's just gonna make sure that I think I'm not gonna break any of my equipment, or there's not gonna be any malfunctions, anything like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the way that knack fit works is usually in a situation, I can add a number of disadvantage dice depending on how difficult a situation is, and knack for it will just reduce 2 of those off the bat. When you're rolling your dice, you'll roll all your advantages against my disadvantages, and then if you've got any successes left at the end, it's a success no matter how many you got left. So obviously the less dice that you roll from a negative side, the better your chances of success. So it's a pretty strong skill to start with.
I thought it also made sense as an engineer, like I should just be good at this.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm rubbish at mechanics, then I failed school.
Literally bred for it.
Well, the fact that one of the characters is going to have no arms, somebody needs to be able to do something with machinery. So
that's true. We don't know if he's got no arms.
He's going to have no arms.
We haven't got that.
Very little arms.
Little saurian arms.
Anyway, what was your other talent then?
And my other talent, I went for quick draw.
Quick draw, nice.
Yeah, I very nearly went for quick draw as well.
Quick draw allows me once per round, on my turn, I will be able to use this talent to draw or holster an easily accessible weapon, which, as I have a one-handed gun, seems pretty easily accessible to me.
Yep.
And it also reduces weapon preparation by 1. Yep. Which for me works kind of thematically and to the skills of the character. I'm always going to be ready for a fight, basically. No one's hopefully going to be able to get the jump on me, and then in honesty, I'll probably end up using this very liberally to shoot people before they even get a chance to come close to me.
All right, Greedo.
Very classic Martian,
just leaving like a trail of dead bodies behind me. That's my goal. So they're the 2 talents I went for.
Nice. Sounds like you got a pretty well-rounded character there. That pretty much fits the Martians down really well, I think. Your biggest challenge is going to be how you interact with other creatures and races and stuff like that. As you, the situations you're going to come into, like the first episode, you're going to probably be really struggling to integrate your character with everyone, and it'll be quite interesting to see how all that works. But I think we'll be able to see as you go on like how you start learning different social skills and dealing with different situations.
I really wanted it to be kind of like a progression for the character, where they are almost intentionally going to be bad at a lot of this stuff just because of who they are, where they come from, and it's going to be an interesting kind of experience to be able to try and have that character develop into someone that can interact with all these different races, and kind of see how that changes them in terms of how they approach different scenarios and characters and things.
Yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see if at the end you're going to take over the Crucible, because that's the thing that Mars wants to do. Just pretty damn bad at it.
Yeah.
You'll see that as we go. Think, oh yeah, we can just wipe out this race, and then they forget that they haven't turned off their engine, and then next thing their base blows up at home, and they're like, oh shit. They are pretty stupid in some of the situations, but they think they're amazing, and they'll never admit to being wrong. So that'll be something that you'll have to deal with as well.
Sounds like my missus.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy your character. Your character is going to fit in really well, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Backstory is going to work perfectly. We'll obviously flesh that out a bit more once we actually start the campaign, and I give you guys the actual like scenario you're going to be in. You'll straight away realize, okay, yeah, this works with what I was saying with the backgrounds.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
That was kind of, I was trying to hope that it was in a way where it could fit anywhere in your story. It wasn't too complicated or specific to one scenario.
Yeah. Cool.
I feel like in that scenario, any Martian could find themselves in that position. Yeah. It just happens to be this.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I think that's it.
Awesome.
Grand.
Thank you very much.
Well, cheers, guys. Same as always. If you got any questions once you watch this, if you want to fire them across to us, but over the next couple of days we'll have somebody else doing their character creation as well. It's either going to be some sort of amber user or a very ridiculous stone-based creature. One of the two. Depends on how quickly Steve can read part of the book. But yeah,
there's a whole section on like the magic in the sea.
Yeah, so we'll see.
To learn all that bad boy.
Grand. But yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'm sure we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys, and thanks, Finn.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Finn.